Good morning and welcome back to another Westies Angling. You're joining me on a wet, dreary, miserable December morning today down here on the River Ribble for the continuation of my autumn barbel campaign. Now it's mid-December, so it's not long before my autumn barbel campaign turns into a winter barbel campaign, but I'm down here still giving it a go. I'm going to be fishing two rods today. I'm going to be fishing natural baits, so I've got some worms with me, I've got some maggots, and I've also got some luncheon meat as well. I believe that I should be fishing about halfway across, just where it slackens off a bit here. Obviously the people that know the River Ribble will probably know the stretch that I'm in. It's a very, very popular stretch and known for producing barbel. The conditions are right. We've got an overcast day, it's mild, it's perfect. I'm going to be fishing the double cage feeders, so I'm very, very hopeful, folks. So without further ado, let's get the rod set up, let's get some ground bait mixed up, and let's get fishing. Got here first thing this morning, had a good look at the river, and tried to find this stretch, which isn't easy to find, to be quite honest with you, but we're here now and that's all that matters. So I've got my Coram EVA bait bucket there and I'll show you what we've got. So we've got the maggots. Now these are very, very old and they stink, which is not ideal. They're all sweaty and horrible. I've got some hemp and some oils there, and I've got some 2 mils that I'm going to put in the mix. We've got our worms here. Right, what else have we got? I've got 2 bags of ground bait with me, but I won't be casting out that often, so I don't think I'm going to use 2 bags. I've already slipped down this banking today because it is treacherous, because like I said, we've had some rain. So I'm using my own brand river ground bait there, which is a dark fishy mix with some pellets in. Let's get rid of that out of the way and get these pellets and hemp and stuff stirred through, and we'll try and get down to the side of the bank here without slipping. That's where I slipped before, nearly went in. Oh my gosh, it is slippy, folks. I'm probably putting quite a bit more water in there than I need, because there's 2 mils in. They'll sap up all that water like there's no tomorrow. So that's that stirred through. I want quite a thick mix today because I want it to stay in the feeder as long as possible. God, what a treacherous day, folks. I don't recommend this to anybody. Don't come down river fishing on your own like this, especially in these conditions, and get these maggots in the cage feeder mix as well. I'm going to get all them used today. They need using. They're probably about, I don't know, 6 week old, them maggots. Disgusting that, isn't it? And some more 2 mils there, just in case we need to mix up some more ground bait. We are due a bit of rain. I've brought my brolly. In fact, we're due a lot of rain, so definitely needed that today. I'll get it set up in a bit, but as it stands, it don't look like I need him. There's a couple of lads fishing down there. It's like we're having a go for the pike. So I'm going to try a couple of different things today. I'm going to try ground bait in the Coram cage feeder, and I've also got some of these heavy Coram gripper leads, which I'm going to put paste in. And that should last absolutely ages, and it'll just continue to wash smell downstream. And I'm going to separate the rods, but I'm going to put them both on the same line down the middle, one a bit further up, one a bit lower down. Got some hook lengths tied up here, fairly heavy duty, folks. 12-pound hook lengths, size 8 feeder hooks. Go big or go home. Obviously we're targeting specimen barbel here, so well, with a bit of luck, I'll take any barbel. Gotta be in it to win it, folks, and you can't question my tenacity in this. I'll keep trying. I'm feeling more confident now. We're in some slightly better swims, and I'm going to be fishing all the way into dark with a bit of luck if I don't get too wet and miserable and cold. And you'll laugh at this, folks. It wouldn't be a Westies Angling video if I didn't forget something. I've actually forgot my packed lunch, so I'm going to be starving, wet and cold by the end of today. So you might be thinking, Westy, why don't you get a packed lunch from the fuel station or something like that? Well, I definitely would have done that, but I only realised I forgot my packed lunch when I got down here. But we've got a full flask of coffee, and that's something at least. I've labelled these as well. I think I'm going to use these. So these are a size 6 feeder hook, 12-pound line. They're about 2 foot, nothing too long. I'm told that you don't really need long hook lengths on the Ribble. So I've just pulled that tail rubber back a bit because we want that to be able to spin freely. I'm just going to straighten these kinks out the line just where it's been on that spool, so it's nice and straight. Oh my god, the sharp then feeder hook. And this is a banded feeder hook, this one. And I think on this one I'm going to start off with worms and we'll see what's in the swim. Look, if we get a couple of good chub today, it's better than blanking, isn't it? So I want to be open to other species as well, and there's no reason why a chub shouldn't take a size 6 hook. It's nothing really. They're not a size 6 carp hook either, folks. They're a size 6 feeder hook, so they're not quite as big as that. Right, baiting needle, gripper lead. Really simple setup. I've got my solid tip on this rod, and I'm going to have a quiver tip on the other rod, I reckon. It's not too far of a chuck, and it's quite clear behind me, so I think I'll be alright for the cast. So for those of you wondering, this is not a dog turd. This is my own homemade liver paste. I might actually make some paste for the website, folks. I'm sure that a few of you had used it. And I'm just going to crush that in both sides here of this core and gripper lead. It's got a hollowed out interior which makes it perfect, and it's got a bit of a cage, so it's ideal for stuff like that. And as I've said, we're starting off on the worm. Natural baits will definitely be the winner at this time of year. I think all these will be trying to escape. These worms are old as well. These have done well to survive. These are, no word of a lie, probably 8-week-old, these worms. And they're still going. So I'm going to put a couple on. Banded. I'll show you what I do to band them. So just stretch one of these bait bands out, one of my own bait bands. Push them on. And that band actually opens up behind the worms there. And then what I normally do is I'll just put a small worm on the hook just to mask the hook point, and then a little red maggot there just to keep that hook point free. There's a bit of a tippet like that. Get this first rod out so we're at least fishing. I've got the bolt and run bead in a semi-fixed position. Yeah, everything looks okay, everything's lined up. And that is spot on, folks. Halfway. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your aunt. We're fishing. Right, cage feeder. And what I'll probably do on the next cast, thinking about it, I'll have the cage feeder upstream and this rig downstream. It'll make more sense to do that because then the feed's washing over my other rig. I didn't really think about that before I cast out, but while I'm messing about, folks, I'm going to put the bait runner on as well. I can't tell you how much I want to catch a Ribble Barbel, folks. Just want to catch my first Ribble Barbel, that's it. I've worked hard enough for it so far. You all follow the channel. And if you don't follow the channel, folks, now's your chance to hit that subscribe button and you won't miss another video in this series. But hopefully, we won't need another video in this series because we're going to get one today, aren't we? Let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. Oh, another fella turning up there, look. What a miserable, horrible day it is today. Mix all this ground bait up. Need a large core and bolt and run kit. So run ring, swivel and insert. Obviously I've already got the tail rubber attached to the rig. Nothing worse than tying rigs up on the bank, folks. And I always have spurs as well. You never know when you're going to get broke or snagged. Oh, just lick my hands then to wet this knot. And all I can taste is liver paste. But I might be that hungry later on today that liver paste starts looking appealing. Can you see how there's a bit of an eddy there in the middle? That's where I want to feed her there. There might be a big underwater snag or something there, or a big boulder or something. Looks like this fella that's set up next to me is fishing for silvers by the looks of it. He's only got a light set up. So this one's slightly smaller, this hook length. It's about 1.5 foot. Okay, cage feeder. Well, with 2 worms on this one and 1 on the hook. Really squeezing that into the feeder. Got snagged on something then. There is a snag under there somewhere. And there we go. The paste is still in the feeder. That's what we want. Let's check that hook's still sharp after hitting that snag. So I'm obviously recasting here just to get that separation between the rods. And I know that you should cast upstream slightly, but I've not really got the space to do that. And I want to be just on the other side of this eddy, I reckon. Oh, gotta be in it to win it. Some of you might have noticed that a lot of the gear that I'm using today is Quorum. I'm not sponsored, folks, just what I choose to use, quality stuff. Oh, folks, I've just been broke. I think it's probably got me around a snag or something like that. That must have been a barbel. Yeah, the line feels really rough. I'm frayed. Must have got me around some kind of snag. Oh, folks, I'm gutted. 12-pound main line, cut straight through, feeder gone and everything. About 5 quid's worth of rig gone. That must have been a barbel, folks. Must have been. I'm getting rid of all this frayed line off. There must be a snag out there, and that's probably what the fish are around, so we're in the right spot. I feel like packing up and going home. Can't give up. For God's sake. Right, I'm going to tackle back up and then we'll get it back out. You saw from the video then, folks, I was straight on it. I don't really know what else I could have done in that situation, to be honest. Feeder gone, hook length gone, everything. Well, that potentially, folks, was my chance for today. I know, starting to sound negative now, but I'm absolutely gutted. And I obviously show you these things, folks, because it's real, it's fishing. That's the reality of river fishing like this. Well, positive is, at least we know that they want the worms. That's the positive. Well, if you're wondering on a 1 to 10 how gutted I am, I'm at about a 15 right now. Them kind of bites don't come often, folks. 100% a barbel, 110%, I bet my life on it. A barbel or a river carp, but I think it was a barbel. Just the way it shot off. And obviously, straight round something down there, there might be a tree. There might be a sharp stone, there might be a metal object down there. So I'm just going to have to be careful. I've cast a bit further to the right this time, but I don't want to be too far away because the fish are there. I'm just going to have to get on them and bully them a bit more. Tighten my drag up, yeah, I've even tightened the drag on the bait runners. It probably got about 2 foot of line then, that's it. 2 foot of line, round summit, and obviously when I brought it in, the line was frayed up about a foot. But we might not get another chance like that today. It's the way it goes on the Ribble. The way it goes on any river, to be honest. You're going to lose gear. All the pros say that you lose gear on the river. I mean, I'm fishing 12-pound mainline. Should I up that to 15? I don't know. People tell me that I fish too heavy. Let me know in the comments, folks, what do you think on the Ribble? Should I be using 15-pound mainline? I think even on 15 it would have severed that. There's not much between 12 and 15 pound downward sensor. I'm going to recast the left-hand rod, I think, and go a bit further out. They seem to be, that bite was about just over halfway. It was probably just before 3/4 of the way across. And I'm hoping that I got it on bank stick cam because that was still running, but I was straight on it. Great bite. Slammed that 4-ounce tip down. Stuff like that happens here when you're fishing, folks. You just got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get another rig back out. It's going to happen. Right, let's recast this left-hand rod. Alright, I'm snagged on this one and all. So if you're snagged up like this, folks, point your rod at it and walk back. You'll tighten your drag up, but make sure you loosen it back off afterwards. This is, so you can see how strong this line is, folks. I am cranking this. I just hope no, it's broke at the knot. It's broke at the knot. Well, that's 2 feeders down today, folks. £6 down and counting. Yeah, we're in. It's definitely a barbel. I think I've got it past that snag. Oh! I don't want to give it too much line. Trying to keep it up in the water, folks. Oh, I'm super excited. I'm shaking. I've seen it. It is a barbel. Oh, my legs are shaking, honestly. Let's get down. Oh, my first river barbel, folks. It's here. Oh. He's done it. Oh, I'm shaking. He's done it. Oh. I'm just going to let it rest in the water a minute. I'll get it unhooked. I'm glad my other rod's out of the way. This was on worms. It's a good barbel, that as well. Oh my god, folks. Perfectly hooked in the bottom of the mouth. So I know from the chub session that this net weighs about a pound. Hopefully I'll be able to get a decent still shot off the GoPro with this, our first river barbel. So not only is it my first river barbel, it's also a PB barbel for me. So it's £8 2 ounce, so it was £9 2 ounce with the net. That's fine there, it's not going away. Look at that beast. Folks, on a scale of 1 to 10 on how chuffed I am, we're at 15 now. That has made losing that gear worth it. What a beauty. Look at that beast. Just over £8. So I'm just giving her a little bit of a rest here. Thank you, fishing gods. He's done it in 2 sessions, targeting barbel. The autumn barbel campaign, and she's ready to go. I've had her rested, so just watch her swim away in this clear water here. Yeah, she's ready. Go on, girl. Well, folks, if that's not worth a like and a subscribe, then I don't know what else I can do for you. Super chuffed. So that's one of my goals done for this autumn and winter season. The next one is catching a big commercial perch. But let's see if we get another, let's see if we can get a bigger one. Double figure barbel, let's go for it. Happy days, folks. In miserable, horrible conditions. Sometimes the best for the fish though. So everybody telling me to, you know, fish boilies, fish certain type of pellets, but it's the good old worms that have done it for me in the end. I was halfway tying this knot and I saw my tip going, but they're obviously feeding. Daytime river barbel, folks, as well, is it's not a common occurrence, and we've definitely lost one and landed one today. But I'll take a 50-50 ratio on a lost and land on the river. Well, I think I'm going to put both of them down river here because there's a snag there, and I want to avoid that. Did I want to get out of bed this morning and set out in those miserable conditions? No, I didn't, folks. I'll be honest with you. Did I want to mess about filming in the rain? No. But as usual, made the effort and been rewarded. It will stick with the worms. So I've just been using 4 worms, tipped with a couple of maggots. Again, big hooks. People tell me I shouldn't be using big hooks, but they obviously don't mind. People have told me to use 3-4 foot hook lengths, but the 2 foot hook length's done it. I'm going to put one of my cheaper cage feeders on. I'm not wasting any more Corum ones. Too bleeding expensive. These are a couple of quid rather than 3 quid. Well, I think I'm actually going to make this video my Christmas Day special, folks. So I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and if I don't see you before, Happy New Year as well. And this is what was getting me the chub the other day as well. And I prefer a band to a quick stop because I feel the fish can actually feel that quick stop. I think a band's better. And they don't come off, folks. I'm so happy. That was one of my life goals, that, folks, that I just did there. May seem like a simple life goal to a lot of you, but absolutely brilliant. And I want to thank everybody for being there to witness it and follow me. Right, let's go down this way. Oh, so treacherous today. And like I said, these are a bit further out. It's not quite as wide on this stretch as it is on the chub stretch that I was fishing the other day. I had no problem seeing that bite on the solid tip. Like I say, I want to be to the right hand side of whatever that snag is. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, it's a horrendous snag. And I do expect to lose more tackle today, but There might be bigger barbel in the swim. I believe sort of like that double figure mark is the average stamp. The rain seems to have eased off a touch, but the breeze has picked up and it is freezing. I believe that the temperature's due to drop down again tomorrow to almost freezing temperatures. We've had a fairly mild autumn so far, but the worst months tend to be January and February in the UK. That's when we get all the ice, the frost, the snow, normally. Seeing as we know that they want the worms, seems pointless to me to open a tin of luncheon meat until we run out of the worms. I know why a lot of people stop fishing at this time of year, but you know what they say, folks, there's no such thing as bad fishing weather, just bad gear. And what's probably happening, obviously, is you cast your feeder out, pull up, lands in, the stuff starts washing out of your feeder downstream here, and the barbel will follow it, depending on where they are, upstream. They're probably in and around these snags here, and they'll follow your feed right up to where your feeder is. Obviously, they'll find your hook bait, they'll find the worms. And I think what you're best doing is get your feeder high like that when you're reeling, and then you're not dragging it through any snags. Got my bait runner on the other rod, just double check that, worms are still okay. There's still loads of stuff in the feeder, so that's why I mixed it thick, folks, so that it comes out slowly over time. This wind is picking up and it's bringing in like a cold fine rain with it as well. Since that last bite, it's been pretty quiet. The temperature is really dropping. It feels very, very cold now. Just hunkered down under my brolly, trying to keep warm, but I think I'm going to have to get up and have a walk about. I had a bite really quick the last time I cast out. It does make me wonder whether you just need to be getting it on the right spot or you're just not going to get a bite. And what I've learnt so far in my river angling journey, if you're not in the right spot, folks, you ain't going to get the fish. You need to be in the exact spot, even on a river, or at least the right distance out anyway, where sometimes there's like deeper spots, there's deeper holes, and the fish will congregate in those spots because the flow won't be as heavy in those places, and bits of debris and food will probably consistently wash into those places as well, so there'll be feeding spots. While we're waiting for a big river Ribble Barbel to come along and absolutely slam one of these feeder rod tips down, I'm going to tell you about this week's giveaway, which is going to be a bag of my River Blend Groundbait. And all you need to do to be in with a chance of winning is make sure you commented on the video, share the video with an angling friend, and make sure you follow me on the WestysAngling Instagram or Facebook page. And if you don't have Instagram or Facebook, just subscribe to the newsletter on my website. That's all you need to do to be in with a chance of winning. I pick somebody at random about 2 weeks after the video launches, just to give everybody time to watch the video, and it's just a thank you from me for subscribing to the channel and watching the videos. It's gone a bit quiet. Wonder if it's time for a recast. Who knows, it's hard to say. Some people say cast out every 20 minutes, some people say leave it up to an hour on the Ribble. I think it's all guesswork, to be quite honest with you, folks. I think if you think you're in the right spot, then it's worth leaving it. But if you're not 100% sure, then move the feeder around. It's coming up to 2:30 and we're already starting to lose the light. Look at all this crap coming downstream here. Big branch. Don't know whether to try a halibut pellet on one of the rods on the next cast. Mix it up a bit. I must say as well, folks, one of the good things about using one of these Quorum bolt and run kits is it's very rare that you bring your rig in and it's tangled. It's just a shame that they're so expensive. Oh, there's a lot of shit washing downstream. It's one of my 8mm halibut pellets going on. But for a bit of visibility, I'm also going to put some maggots on the hook. Well, because the river's coming up, I'm actually going to come touch closer in on this rod, because if that flow's picking up, then I probably want to be more this way. So it slackens off a touch, but a bit more confident there now after a recast. I've just checked the weather forecast and we're due really heavy rain at about 5 o'clock. We're definitely going to be able to fish up till dark, but then we'll probably need to get packed up sharpish so we don't get caught in this bit of a storm that's coming in. I think I've decided that I'm definitely going to up my main line to £15 on my barbel setup. I just don't think £12 cuts it on the Ribble in certain conditions. Obviously some conditions, yeah, if you're fishing a spot that's not that snaggy, but the problem is that barbel likes snaggy spots, so I don't think that extra line thickness would put them off at all. So I think that's what I'm going to do, up these to £15, which is a shame because I've only just loaded these. But just had a mega bite on the spicy sausage sinker, but I'm round a snag. Oh no, just had a bite on the other one as well. I reckon some chub have moved in. I have to pull for a break on this. Yeah, well, that's another feeder gone. That's 10 quid's worth of gear today. Down the Swanee. I'm really concerned that I'm actually going to get cut off here. The water's coming up really quick. I've got a feeling that it's high tide as well as a flood coming in. Jeez. I waded through here before. I'm kind of cut off from it. I'll have to go probably up and over there. Very dangerous though. I'm in on the halibut pellet. Feels small. This might actually be a chub, this one, or a really small barbel. 14mm halibut pellet though, folks. Bait runners on the other one. It's a good chub. Oh. Let's get down here. Try and keep an eye on the other rod as well. Oh, that's a cracker. 14mm halibut pellet, it's taking that. That's a PB. 14mm halibut pellet. Put me bleeding scales away, folks. I didn't expect to catch anything else, to be honest. I've given up. I'm trying to do 3 things at once here. I'm definitely going to weigh this fish. I'm trying to keep an eye on my other rod, just in case there's some more chub in the swim, but this ain't far off £5. Might even be more. Hard to get a scale for it on the GoPro, folks. It's wide angle, it stretches. 14mm halibut pellet, folks. Big old chublet. Let's weigh it. So that fish, folks, is £6.2 with the net, so it's £5.1, which is an ounce over my PB. £5 1 ounce chub. 14mm halibut pellet. Oh god, it's got deep there. Oh my god, nearly went in. Look at that. Like I said, it's hard to get a scale from on the camera. Well, was it worth coming out today? I think it was. Somebody was asking me on my last video why I fish with my rod tips right up in the air like this when you're fishing on the Ribble, and that's because you want as little line in the water as possible. You don't want your line going all the way through the water to your feeder, because there's so much crap blowing downstream that it's just going to wipe your rods out. You need to be right up so that your line's going directly down to your feeder pretty much. Rod tips high, like we're doing. And as you can see, I'm still getting crap collecting on the line, even now. I've just had both rods absolutely wiped out by pretty much a tree coming down river. Oh my God. It was massive. Well, I've just lost another full rig and gripper lead again. So that takes the total to the tackle loss to about 20 quid today. Jesus. Not been my day. Well, it hasn't. Last cast. The fella that's fishing next to me was fishing about probably 2 or 3 foot up the bank, and now his feet are in the water. I mean, even in this swim here, if you look back at the start of the video, look at how far the water's come up. Well folks, I just want to say, I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed filming it and getting my first River Ribble Barbel. I am honestly over the moon. I can't be happier. I'm so glad that I come out today, even though it's miserable conditions, and we give it a go. And the autumn barbel campaign has been a success. You'll have to forgive me, I've still got the rods in. I'm trying to keep an eye on them as well as filming this little bit of a summary, but the bait runners are on, so if we do get a fish, the drag will go before my rods get dragged in. Whoa! Or maybe I'll go in first. My God, these banks are treacherous today. How I've not slipped in at some point today, I don't know, but over the moon with how this session's gone. And I really just want to say, before we lose the light, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next Westies Angling. Who knows what we're going to be doing next? River, lake, trotting, feeder fishing, pike fishing, dead baiting, who knows. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next Westies Angling. Let's have a go at crossing this channel. Oh. I'm going to go closer to the pike if I can. Yep, after it's fallen in, that's deep. That's really deep. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Can't believe I've just fallen in there. I knew the water level had come up, but that's about 3-4 foot deep there. Right, I'll come back for those. I'm going to get all my camera equipment across safely. I'm going to try and go up and round. It's way too deep. I'd said about probably 3 or 4 foot just out there. Oh, I'm like Spider-Man here. Nobody do this on your own, for God's sake. Nobody.